Hi, everyone. This is not another episode of First Light. This is going to be a quick update on the podcast itself. So if you are new here and you're listening back in publication order, feel free to skip this one completely. You don't have to listen to it. You can jump to the next story, which should be next in line. So if you don't know me, I'm Scott McGowan. I'm the author of these stories, and I'm also the narrator and the producer. If you're listening to this, it's likely that you're already a friend of mine in real life. But if not, hi, I'm stoked that you found this. I've just gone back right now to look at how long it's been since I started working on First Light, and honestly, I'm kind of shook to see how long it's been. The first piece I wrote in this universe was back in December of 2023. So I went to theater school, and as part of my training, I had to do a script writing course. And if I'm being totally honest, the main thing I took away from that course was that I would never be a writer. And this was a big hit to me creatively because I had previously been an English major, and I always loved writing when I was in high school. But creative writing ended up being this part of me that I stuck a big "I'm not good at this" label on, and I didn't really examine it for literal years. But something clicked for me in 2023. I think it was because I had just started using Obsidian as a note-taking app, and I decided to just do stuff, the writing equivalent of doodling, essentially. And the first thing that I wanted to try was to expand upon these characters, Dawn, Ruben, Victoria, and M, that I've had swimming around in my head since I was 15. That's not a joke, by the way, and I'm about to expose just how cringe of a person I actually am. So since I was 15, when I was bored sometimes, or in the shower, or before going to bed, I would come up with dialogue and storylines for these characters, and I would act them out quietly, of course, with no one watching. But yeah, they've been close to my heart for a while. And Obsidian has this plugin that's like a daily writing quota thing, which only really served to get me interested in giving writing another go. And it didn't take at first. That first piece, which has been since scrapped for parts, sat alone in my Obsidian vault for another year and a bit until something happened to me in October of 2024 that made me start coming up with new ideas. One of which was The Last Samurai. The whole concept was, dude is killing people with a metal sword because it penetrates photon armor, and Dawn beats him because she's made of metal herself and he can't hurt her. That was my entire pitch deck for it. And I wrote another couple of little short things that have also gone into the trash before I started real work on The Last Samurai in January of 2025. And I didn't finish that until February of this year, 2026. That's not a quick pace. But I wasn't taking it seriously. Honestly, it wasn't until I finished TLS and sent it to my friends who told me it was actually decent that I thought, oh, hey, maybe this is something that I could do after all. So then I wrote Finders Keepers in about 2 months. Then I took a little break to sort out some world building stuff, and I started the next story, The Daemon of Neara Station, on May 3rd of this year, finishing it on July 22nd. You'll notice that the podcast started getting published somewhere within this timeline. The first episode of this dropped on June 30th, and I have been doing weekly episodes since then, so it's been a month and a half. And I have to say, this has been a hell of a lot of fun, and I am so glad y'all are enjoying it, because it is a ton of work. The last episode of Finders Keepers took me 6 hours to put together, even after we all got together and did the dialogue. And a little part of that is because I had to redo my narration. The preamps that I used to record Sean, Nancy, and I on the day that we did our dialogue recordings were nowhere near as crisp sounding as my usual ones, and I was silly and I didn't record all the narration on the day, so the difference between audio quality was very noticeable. Like, I'm not talking like audio engineer noticeable, I'm talking schlub noticeable. If that makes any sense. But the major part of the work was the sound effects and the music. Like, oh, the sound effects especially. Yeah. So here I am. It's August 17th, and I'm supposed to put out a podcast episode tomorrow if I want to keep up the weekly uploads. And I'm looking at the Daemon of Neara Station, which is over 30,000 words and has way more specific audio cues than Finders Keepers did. And yeah, it's not going to happen. Probably not for a few weeks at best. And that's not to say that it won't ever happen. It will, because I am a psychopath who commits to every project with unnecessary fervor, but I might need a bit of time to do it because Neara Station is a monster. It's also the best part of the series so far. So when it comes out, I promise you it will be worth the wait. But you may ask then, well, what comes after that? And that's where I say, I have no idea. I've started writing the next story, but who knows how long that'll take. So even if I get Neara Station out soon, there is going to be a wait afterwards, if only because I've run out of stories. But my hope is that I'll get 2 or 3 more like big stories like TLS or Finders Keeper sized done, and a few interstitial pieces. So feedback. There's another one coming out after Neara Station as well. And by that point, I'll have likely hit 100,000 words total or more for the whole collection, and I'll go and self-publish the book, and then I'll catch up on the podcast eps after that. All of this is to say, hey, thank you so much for listening, for sharing this podcast with your friends, and for giving me your time and attention. There's more First Light to come, but there's not going to be a new episode this week, and maybe won't be for a while. I want to do it right, and I need some time to do it right. And that's it. Thanks for listening. Hope you all have a great week. Bye.